Good day to all my friends and franchise mavens out there. This is chapter 2 of Real Freedom, why franchises are worth considering and how they can be used for building wealth. I am Greg Mohr. In our first chapter, we realized freedom was just one franchise away. Now we're going to go through chapter 2, which is choosing the right franchise. So how do we find the right franchise? What are the steps we take? What are all the mistakes to avoid? What are our options to consider? So when I figured out that my freedom was just a franchise away and that franchising was right for me, it was time to figure out which franchise was right for me. I had no idea where to start. So like everybody else, I became click happy. I went out on Google and started searching franchises. This caused me to get all sorts of different calls from different people. Every time you click and ask for that information about a franchise, you will have people calling you up because you emailed and sent your information. How do we avoid that? So let's take a look at Paul. Paul was very interesting. He was an IT guy from the East Coast that moved over to Oklahoma. He found that over in Oklahoma, corporate didn't pay as much for IT as he'd been getting over on the East Coast. He wanted an IT franchise where he could get paid as much as he was making over there. So we're going to go through what we did for Paul as well as myself, the mistakes I made, and how I helped Paul avoid these same mistakes. Let's start with a few mistakes that I was making as I began my journey. So, franchising mistakes. Mistake number 1, not understanding the business or industry before getting started. Warren Buffett knows a lot about investing. He bypassed all the technology companies and stocks because he didn't understand the industry and doesn't get involved in anything he doesn't understand. That's what will help you avoid by starting out. That's one of the mistakes I made. I didn't understand all the different industries and what they encompass. I was clicking on all sorts of industries, but what will help you do is understand the business, the industry, and the model. That way, you'll know what makes that particular franchise successful, how the margins work, and how they will be profitable. Mistake number 2 is not figuring out how much the franchise costs. What is the total investment level? So many will say, all right, so it takes $250,000 to invest in this franchise. That's how much I have. So can I afford this franchise? Well, not necessarily. Depends on the franchise itself. You're going to need some working capital as well. This also depends entirely on the franchise that you're getting into. If you get into a franchise where you're the owner-operator, then you probably won't need a lot of overhead. You won't necessarily need a lot of working capital, except for maybe a good marketing budget. Well, let's say you're getting into a brick-and-mortar type franchise, like a restaurant or an automotive franchise, where you've got payroll to come up with, training to do, and you've got to build out the concept. All of that requires not only the investment, but now you need some working capital as well. So we'll take a look at your budget, what kind of budget it takes to get that franchise going. These are the sort of things that you'll need to know. I can provide how the business model works, what working capital you'll need, so you'll have a better, clearer understanding of what the total investment really is. Mistake number 3, just because it's hot doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. There's a lot of people that come to me and will say, okay, what are the hot concepts out there? Remember, some hot concepts today may not be hot concepts tomorrow. So we'll take a look at what it is you're really trying to accomplish. Are you wanting to tell everybody that you have the hottest concept, or are you looking for a great investment that's going to pay those bills now and into the future, allowing you the lifestyle you want? Keep in mind, not all hot concepts are bad. There are pros and cons of each. Obviously, if it's a hot concept, you may make a lot of money quickly, as long as you can grow it up and sell it within a certain amount of time. It may not be a bad idea, but there are some things I'll go over with you individually on that. Mistake number 4, thinking you'll be rich in a year or 2. It takes time to build things up. Maybe it's a hot concept, who knows, but it does take time to build things up. Mistake number 5, not securing funding. There's always funding available. My people out there fund franchises on a regular basis, as long as you've got good credit out there. The franchise models are proven models, so getting that part done is very simple. And I've got a few different funding partners that can help you secure funding on that, whether it's using the 401k rollover money, SBA, term loans, many different things. Mixed bag on that one. Some people don't want to go into debt, so they'll use their own money, their 401k programs, and then some of my people like using other people's money to make money. So we'll go over both those opportunities with you. Mistake number 6, not talking to existing franchisees. Always talk with existing franchisees as you're going through the process, as many as it takes for you to get a good feel for that business. Validating and verifying everything that the franchise told you. The more franchisees a franchise has, has, the more people you can talk to. Or not speaking to as, and again, not speaking to enough franchisees. Again, speak to as many until you start hearing the same thing over and over again. Once you get to that point, then you know you've probably hit the correct number of franchisees to talk with. They're also going to be your friends. So you're making friends along the way as you talk to franchisees. So not only going to have the franchisor helping you out and helping you grow, but all those people that you talk to about the franchise as you're investigating the franchise, those are all people that you're making friends with. They can help you out as well. Nobody competes with each other for the most part in franchises. Everybody gets a specific territory. So you're all helping each other grow that business model. And mistake number 7, not making use of free experts. There's a lot of experts out there that can help you out. Experts in funding, franchise attorneys, look up your local SCORE chapter in your area. They all have been business people. These are business mentors that you can get a hold of. I talked to a few people over SCORE when I did that, SCORE, all caps on that. So to go through all the 7 mistakes, to get them in written format, just go to franchisemaven.com. So I made certain that Paul did not make these mistakes. I made certain that he understood the business, understood the industries he was looking at. I made certain that he had capital on that. We looked at different franchises, not just the ones that were fashionable. He knew it would take some time. He knew he wouldn't be rich necessarily in a year or two. And we looked at funding options. I made him speak with existing franchises from a couple different franchises that he investigated. And then he talked to the experts as well. So those are the 7 mistakes over here in chapter 2. Next step, next call that we're going to go through, that's enough for now. Keep you thinking about that. We're going to go through types of franchises on the next part of chapter 2 on that. Again, if you have any questions at all, need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Greg at franchisemaven.com. That's Greg at franchise, MAV as in Victor, EN.com. Or just give me a call, 361-772-6401. Hey, everybody, enjoy yourselves out there. Take care.